All right, so wholesaling 101. I'm Mike the wholesaler. It's January 28th, 2022, and the wholesaling process and getting started. Okay, there is my contact. Here, let me put that in the thing. You can follow me on the stuff and join my group. Join the REI USA group too. And we're back. Okay. There's my contact. You can call, text, talk to me, join the group, all of that. Share your wins. Okay. About me. I am married to an amazing, beautiful, shy wife. I have two crazy kids, and you're going to find out. There they are, Noah and Lincoln. There they are again. They're playing, I think Fortnite just came out with a new season. And it's really loud. I collect monopolies. I'm the wholesaling supergroup leader of REI USA. I won Teacher of the Year in 2018. And so here we go. You are now a real estate investor. And if anybody asks what you do, you say, I buy houses. All right. Set a goal so big that you can't achieve it until you grow into the person who can. So don't set a goal for what you think you can do. Set a goal for this person that you want to turn into. Set the goal that will force you to become them. That you'll have to become them in order to achieve it. All right. Then we got Superman, how it feels being stuck in a regular job, knowing your true potential. Okay, that's exactly what it's like. I mean, it is completely. When I was hired by Walmart the second time, and I had found out about real estate. They could tell I wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid, and then ended up firing me again. And whoa. Friends, I never see you at the club. Me, I never see you at the bank. So that's another one for you. Some cool memes to get you thinking about the kind of mindset that you need to go for. All right. So go on your phone. If you're watching this on your phone, be sure to do it later. If you're watching this on your computer or your phone later on, after it's recorded, go to your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, all of that. Change your bio to We Buy Houses. Or you could do I help people. We help people with their houses. Okay. All right. And then that's it. That's just we help people with their houses. You don't want any other stuff. Just put you do that. You could also if you're whatever your hobbies are, you play games, so you could put in like my gamer tag, whatever, make it personal. Like it's not just we buy houses. If that's what you do, you can do that as well. All right. And then we have the wholesaling process. That looks very weird. What is going on here? What is this? Oh, that is weird. Oh, they're calling each other gross. You're gross. Don't call me gross. That's kids for you. All right, there we go. Okay, and then I'll shorten this. Okay, you market the properties, you get people to call you or you call them, you get those properties under contract, you sell that contract to somebody else because you don't own the property, you own the exclusive agreement to purchase that property. That's what you're selling to the cash buyer. You are the middle person, so you have the agreement to purchase the property. There's you, and then you have the cash buyer, the assignment agreement that assigns that contract from you to the other person. They then pay for the property off that contract, and then they pay you at least 10,000 to have that ability. All right, and then you get paid in the middle at closing, and you repeat. There's an example of a house, a contract, some money, and postcards I used to send. Okay. Selecting a market. Okay, so you're picking a market like Atlanta. Here's the Beltline. This is the market that everybody goes after. Everybody wants the Beltline. Well, I want the neckline. I want the shoe line. I want the whatever other line people are going after before they get there. Guy in my mastermind, Chris, had the opportunity to buy stuff in the Beltline for about 50, 60,000. And he's kicking himself now because he couldn't tell at the time. But I'm in a mastermind with this guy. And I was a sophomore in high school at the time. And so I'm like, dude, yeah, tell me more. Next time, something like this happens, I'm gonna know. So that's great. And then that's what you should be thinking about is where is your market now you're going to pick, you're going to do deals in, but always be thinking about where that next market is going to be. Okay. And that's where you see the prices rising. I know right now it looks like prices are rising everywhere, but keep your ear to the ground and keep a lookout for where prices are rising higher than normal. Okay. Selecting a market, you want at least 600 sellers for 300 buyers. You want that 2-to-1 ratio when you're pulling lists. Let's find the buyers. Okay, so this is Prop Stream. It's about 97 a month, I think. And then you pay for the extra stuff, I think 27 to have, you make a list, you select one of these criterias, what it is, and it could be liens, vacant, and high equity. And then anytime, and you pick like a area, you can draw the area, you can label something in here like, let's see. Let's see if we got Paulding County. Okay. So here's going Paulding County. This is, let's see if we filter this. Owner occupied. No, we don't want them to live in it. Occupy any. And then we go down to, wait, can y'all see my screen? Okay, well, I guess you'd let me know in the chat. And then we go down to ownership info. Years of ownership. Well, we'll get to that in a second. Individual. All right. And then we want, wow, out of county. That's good. So the problem with out of state, when you're pulling a list, if they live out of state, they're highly motivated to sell. And if they're a cash buyer that buys out of state, it means they're buying sight unseen. So it's good, both sellers and buyers. But out of county, which means that if they live in Atlanta and they're buying in Macon, that's just like being an out of state owner because they're so far away. So now you can look at people out of county, or if they're just local people. Maybe this is not it. Let's see. Because we want individuals that paid cash. Oh, do we have this? Do we have? Yeah, here we go. Okay. cash buyer, boom, cash buyer, individual, owner occupied. Now they just select it for you. Okay, now we'll close. So there we go with cash buyers. Now you see that's different. They got a lot more people buying cash up here. But when I first typed in Paulding County, it was down here. So this is where they want them. Okay, and let's go back over here. And we wanted that 2-to-1 ratio. Okay, now you see up here, you can see how many on this list are MLS, pre-foreclosure, auction, all of that. So we're going to go back up here and we're going to put last sale date. So let's go back. Let's go back to August and select August 1st. And what this means is that they bought the property cash October 8, anyway, August 1st. So they bought it on August 1st, and now they have since then, they own it now. So we're not getting cash buyers from like years and years ago. Okay. That's what you want. All right, so close, and we see if it changed a little bit. And yeah, so now we have 200 properties here, and it's looking pretty good. So 200 in the last 6 months. We want at least 400. Math is hard. 400 sellers. Okay, so filter. Hey, bud, close the door. All right, and then we go in here and we select preset. Let's do zombie properties. Wow, they've actually got presets for zombie. Let's do that. So these are properties. Last sale. Let's just do vacant. Okay, so vacant. And we go to ownership info, their individual. Yeah, we still want individual. Last sale date. Doesn't matter. Hey, can you close the door, buddy? Come on, I'm on a webinar. All right, can I delete that? Can I? All right, guys. Close the door. All right. Okay, buddy. All right. So we got 5 properties, so that's not looking good. Can I reset the filters? Clear all. Okay. Paulding County, Georgia. All right, so there we go. Paulding County, Georgia. And here we go. And then filter. Let's filter it for the vacant. And then close. There we go. Okay, so I must have plugged in some stuff from having a buyer. All right. So these are 600 properties, and I believe we had 200. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. So we are doing great right here. This is more sellers than buyers. So it would seem like it's a seller's market, but these are all sales and not just MLS sales. Okay, so let's go back in here. We found some buyers. Oh, just so you know, you can save this list, and anytime something else pops up, let's see if the zombie properties work. No results. Okay, so that's just a new zombie property is where it's a bank owned, where there's a mortgage, but nobody's paying it, and it's just sitting there and it's not being sold. So it's like a zombie because the mortgage is there, but nobody's paying, but nobody's also getting foreclosed on. Can you close the other door too, bud? Both of them. All right. Okay, so yeah, and then you can export this list. Once you get into this screen, you can select them all, export them. Now, here's another thing you want to do. You want to select all the properties you've got and on market. You want to click on that, and then you want to go and you want to action, and you want to remove them, delete records, and then just sold. And then you also want bank owned, and yeah, bank owned. And then, all this stuff. I don't know how accurate this is, but you want to remove stuff that's just been sold within, like, I think it's 30 days, 60 days, something like that. And then stuff on the market, they're listing with a realtor. It's way bad. You don't want that. Okay. So where are we? Here we go. We're back in here. I got my window. Let me get the chat back up. Okay, let's find the buyers. We found them. Reverse wholesaling, or wholesaling dyslexic. You find the buyer, you see what they bought, you contact them, you talk to them at a meetup or a webinar where they push you off to breakout rooms, and the buyer is local, so wherever you're going to be wholesaling, and then get them to commit. Like, hey, if I find properties, tell me about the last 3 properties you did, and what you liked about them, how much you fixed them up for, tell me all that good stuff. And then after they get done, you could say, well, hey, if I find you properties just like that, and I sell them to you for that price, are you gonna go for it? And so say, yeah, of course, why not, right? Just keep doing the same amount of deals and make the same amount of money you've been making. You're gonna be like, yeah, send them to me. So, and then of course you find the deals that match. So you get the buyer ahead of time. Now you don't actually have to talk to them and get them to commit, but it would help if you can. But if you can't do that right now, um, you can always just see what they bought and take a look at it. Like, for example, let's, how do I get out of escape? Okay, come on. Okay, that was weird. All right, you come in here and let's see. You can see this property right here. Click on it. They will give you, and really hard to do this since the MLS pulled their third-party data access, but they use whenever the name switches, the property has the name of the owner changes, they pull that as a public record. Property sold, they see what the property sold for in those records, and then they give you comps on it. All right, so but obviously the MLS is better, as that has days on market, but we don't have that, but we can still make do. And you can see what they bought. Grove Crest Way in Duluth. Look at that little cookie cutter properties. We have neighborhoods like this all over the place. Year built, length of ownership, occupied, owner occupied, individual. Yes, there's an HOA, pre-foreclosure, and it's a single family residence, and it sold off market. It was financed, and the county it's in is Gwinnett, which is where, okay. And then they give you all of this stuff. So there's how much equity. Oh, they bought it for 355. That's how much equity, comparables, all of that. Oh, average days on market, properties, all this info. So if you find a property just like, if this were a cash buyer, if you found a property just like this, you could just go out there and sell it to them. And of course, you want to look for a bunch of properties, and you want to find the similarities. Okay. All right. Now we go back here. And then I bring up the chat. Okay. All right. Last 3 deals they did. If I bring you a deal like that in that area at that price, would you buy it? You know what they want the deals at. All you need to do is lock them up for less than that. So they're like, yeah, find me anything in this neck of the woods, 80,000 or less purchase. 70 or 1,000 less in repairs, or they might say like 150 all in. That would include the price and repairs. Let me know. You can also connect them with, like, I've got, oh man, after you network with a couple people, I've got a guy that's got 210. I've got a guy that's got 220 that will loan. And then, of course, I've got the hard money guy that's going to be, a little different on everybody. But if I've got one guy that's like, hey, I have 100,000, I'm like, well, hey, I've got a guy over here that's got 220. This guy's got 210. What if you borrow the money from both of them and we can get this $1 million deal or this $500,000 deal and buy it, fix it up, and flip it to the buyer? So they take their money, they take both these other funding guys you got. So you can pool funding people together. And promise. All right. Promise yourself you'll never give up. So I want you to talk to 5 sellers a day, make an offer to a person truly interested in selling their house. Okay. Send mail to any you don't get to. So if you talk to 3 sellers, you're mailing out to 2. Okay. Set a task in Podio or Google, or you can set it in Resimply to mail them out every 30 days. And of course, in Resimply, you can have them mail out every 30 days. All right. Yeah. So here are some ways to generate a list. You can go driving for deals on your way to and from work. You can go to Zillow for sale by owner. You can go to for rent by owner. Don't do any for sale by owner. Well, for sale by owner sites or anything like that. Craigslist is a good one. You've got to weed out all the wholesalers, and then the free pocket list, which we will get to. Those are cheap or free. And then the costly ones are to buy one from Law Clerk on Demand, or any other site that you can think of. Oh, okay. How to identify a seller. All right. I'll get to that after this. All right. You can pull a list of expireds as a realtor, or you can get a realtor to do that. And then mojosells.com has expireds, realtor lists. They have lists in there for you to call. And then, of course, list source is there for you. Okay, so how do you identify a seller? Okay, so let's see. I've got a list of foreclosures. Let me yeah. In here, I have this guy at this deal that I'm working on. We got, today and tomorrow makes 2 days before the closing. So hopefully we're gonna lock it up before it goes into foreclosure. So hopefully that won't happen. But so I sent out, I got the foreclosure list and I sent out postcards. And I labeled the phone number you can see up here. Foreclosure mail is this number. So you call that number, it's going to come in as foreclosure mail. I'm going to know, hey, this lead came from foreclosure mail. So I know this person's a seller. I know it's in foreclosure. I know they want the opportunity to either help stop their house from going to the auction, or they might want to sell it, or they might want money to stop it from going to the auction and then sell it. And then, of course, give me money back for borrowing the money. So that's how I know that's a seller. Now, in here, looking at a list, let's go to search. Michelle, where are you from? Are you California? Oh man, what is the Los Angeles or Sacramento? No, not LA. No, Sacramento. Oh, San San Fran, and I think it's Cisco. Okay, so we come. Ooh, that's tiny. Okay, so San Francisco is just that place right there. Yeah, somebody was like, "Oh, I'm from the Bay." And I was like, "Well, which one?" There's tons, dude. Like, "Oh, you're the Bay." Like, "Oh, okay." Like, we got a bay here in Georgia, down at the little part that touches the coast. So
Power has
it's a
been
bay.
fully restored, Captain.
Thank you. Okay, so in here, we know these are sellers because we are owner occupied. No. So we don't want a person that lives in the property. Okay. They're going to want enough money to move out when they sell that one to get a bigger, better house. And there's no way you're going to be able to afford that, or it's not going to work. Then owner occupancy. Now, whether that property has a person in it, like a tenant, or not, that doesn't really matter to me. You could do vacant, make them super motivated. You'll see that's the vacant quick list right there. And then that's it. So these people have a vacant property that they own. I would say they are sellers. Now, if you get a Craigslist ad, the way or what did I talk about? Craigslist or okay. So if you go driving for deals, you can see that a property needs a little bit of work and might be vacant. So you're like, okay, that's definitely a seller. Zillow, they have the property there and they're selling it. Okay. Or they're a realtor. Okay. So they check that kind of stuff. So you know those are sellers. Uh, these FISBO sites and for sale by owner sites, you don't know. Craigslist, you don't know. And then the free pocket list, you don't know. And I would also argue, I haven't put it on here, but bandit signs, you don't know who's calling. So I would identify the seller by getting the property and then checking the tax records to see if the name they give you matches the name on the property. So I was selling a house and I, for some reason, put my home address on there. And the guy was like, who's this person? And I was like, um, it's me. And they were like, are you a girl? And I was like, no. And then I was like, oh, I gave you the wrong address because my wife owns the house, you know. Uh, but so I'm the only owner on this other house. I was like, it's only me on there. And he's like, well, I don't know. So we figured that out. Uh, okay, I'll get new batteries for it. All right, go close the door. It'll be 30 minutes, okay? Tell him every time I do this, I'm like, hey, can you be quiet? I'm on a webinar. And I don't know if you heard him, but he just said, who are you talking to? This kid is crazy. Craigslist as well. If you see ARV, not a seller. The only people that put ARVs are wholesalers. If they have MLS anywhere in the image of the property, not a seller. We'll get to Craigslist in a while, but if there are financing, fees, anything, not a seller. You then just have to use your best guess to just pictures a property. Hey, I fixed it up. I put a little elbow grease in the bathrooms, fixed them up, put in some stuff. That's a seller. That's how you're going to tell. And then if you pull a list, which we just talked about, like in PropStream, obviously when you pull the list, that's going to be a seller. If you get somebody that calls in and says, hey, let's meet at the office, that is kind of sus. Okay. Very strange that somebody wants to meet at office. I will meet at the property that we are interested in buying, and that's the way it is. So if you put out a bandit sign and you get somebody and they're like, hey, tell me where your office is, even if you have an office, I would say, well, hey, what's the property you want to sell? Let's meet there and you know, move on. If they don't want to do that, I'd be very weary about it. I've heard of people meeting at like Starbucks, because they're like, well, I just met you over the phone. And it's like, well, if we meet at your property, bring somebody else if you don't feel safe, we can do it out in the sunlight. Um, but it could be somebody wanting to meet you somewhere. So I don't go for that. And then I had one guy where it was a cop called him from a bandit sign and was like, let me know where your office is and I'll come in and we'll sell a house. And he was like, here's my address. And then in came a cop and was like, hey, this is your bandit sign. I called you. It's verified. And he's in the system now. So yeah, very weary about that kind of thing. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. That was a little long-winded. There we go. Okay, so the best marketing strategies for you. If you're an introvert, we got ringless voicemails where it calls them and leaves a pre-recorded message voicemail. We got mass texting, mail to a web form. So you mail them something and on there has a website. When they go there, there's a web form and they fill it out. Facebook ads and messenger bots. For the extroverts, we got door knocking, cold calling, mail with a phone number that goes to your phone or somebody else's. I guess that could be introvert if you have other people picking up the phone, and then going live on social media. Okay, so those are some marketing strategies for you. And I have them put up into extrovert and introvert because if you're which one of these you are, you want to focus on what you are. If you're an introvert, you want to find an extrovert to handle that stuff like cold calling, talking to the seller, going live and knocking on doors. Because there are going to be some people that don't come pick up the phone, but they'll open the door and talk to you. All right, so you've got a list. How can you skip trace it? Okay, so batchskiptracing.com does them for 20 cents a piece. Simply does them for 15 cents a piece. Lead Sherpa, I think, is a weird price. I think it was, depends. REI Skip is 45. And the one that's really bad, I don't think is on here, but it's by Max Maxwell. I've never had like such a horrible scale. Like none of the numbers were good. Peoplefinders.com, Skip Genie, American Tracers, and Skip Vault. American Tracers, I hear, are great, but I don't know how to sign up. There's no link on their website. There's no contact to talk to anybody. But I hear nothing but good stuff about them. So if you can get in, let me know. All right, so skip tracing is to find out the seller's info, find out their social media, find out their phone numbers or their emails. For social media, by the way, you can go to PIPL. Click down here, PIPL.com. And that's how you can find their social media and messaging. All right, so you got that. And I use Simply. Lead Sherpa, I think, was really good. Lead Sherpa, if I had to pick one other than Simply, I'd do Lead Sherpa. It was 15, 20 cents a skip. And if they had already skipped them before, they wouldn't skip them again or charge you again. And then the other good thing was they would give you an IP address. IP addresses. So IP addresses is an internet location, like in the physical world, like right here in my house, I have an IP address. Anybody in this house that logs onto a computer here or onto the Wi-Fi is going to have that Wi-Fi has an IP address, and they have last known usages on there. And so you can also see that if the IP address at the property that you want is still active, and that's the IP address of the person who owns the property, they're there at the property. Now, if it hasn't been active in a couple years, or that IP address shows up somewhere else, that is where the seller is, right? And phone numbers and email, with the last time it was activated or used, is really great, because you can just go to the email or the phone number that was used this month or last month and go right to that instead of calling all the numbers, which is really nice. All right. A virtual number. Don't use your real number. Okay. You don't want people getting access to that to you, and you don't want people finding out, the address of the person that owns that phone number. Skip trace with props. You can you click skip trace, but what it does is it sends you to, I want to say, batch skip tracing. It just opens a link to another site that skip traces for you. But I think they have some sort of deal where once you link up your accounts, you could just swap them over and have them skipped. But I'm not sure on that. Yeah. All right. So virtual numbers. Google Voice, obviously, a burner phone, burnerphone.com, Simply, CallRail. CallRail, I hear, is really good. REI Simple, mojocells.com is a virtual number. Twilio, you have to set up yourself. You have a CallFire virtual number you can get from the discounts page as being a part of the REIA. And then you have Smartphone, and then CBSI Holdings. Now, if you have trouble getting on the phone and talking to sellers, I would suggest CBSIholdings.com, because they are a call center. And so you send out your marketing with your phone number, and they call that phone number. CBSI will give you a phone number. And when that number is called, your script gets pulled up by them 24/7, 365, and they will answer the phone and have multiple people pick up, get that info down, and send it to you. So they are a virtual call center, and yeah, really great for that. Now, they don't actually make calls for you, but they will take calls in for you. Okay. And let's see. Yeah, that's the only one that does that for you. Okay, here we go. Hey, can you close the door, buddy? I'm on a webinar. Okay. I will after the webinar. Okay. Tracking numbers. Okay, so these virtual numbers, you track them. So earlier I said I got foreclosure mail. So any call that comes in, I know that's from foreclosure mail. Okay, and the auction that month. So you got Google Voice, CallRail, Call Text, and or Call Text isn't around anymore. CBSI Holdings. So you know where these numbers are coming in, and you can see how many calls and how many deals are coming in. And with our Simply, they track all of that for you. So all those calls that come in, how much money you've spent, all of that gets tracked. So later on, you can go and see, well, we're not getting many calls through this, or deals through bandit signs. And so you can get rid of that and move on. All right, so the free pocket list. Okay. In your pocket, or you're probably watching it on your phone.
Watkins have been stopped, Captain.
Okay, thank you. On your phone, you have a free list. Okay, so in here, you have contacts, and you label those contacts A to Z, and you call them, and you talk to them. Old coworkers, old friends, you hit them up, ex-girlfriends, whatever, whoever. It's been a while, just call them, just hit them up. How you doing? How you been? Oh, you're manager at Waffle House now. Awesome. Moving on up. You're getting that money, right? and just butter them up. And then, or you're doing Instacart or Uber or whatever. Oh, awesome, man. And then get to, hey, have you seen any properties, any houses people might want to sell, anything you might want to sell? And just, well, hey, save my number now as, Mike buys houses. And so they'll send you deals. They might tell you, hey, I've got this road in my neighborhood. There's like 3 houses on it, all boarded up. Take a look at it, man. Hey, text me the road name. And oh, that's in Ackworth. Okay, good. And then you can go look it up and you go find those properties. So get people out there. At least, I mean, everybody's got like 50 people in their contacts, and or you can do this on Facebook, on Messenger. You can call people and get in there and just get these people out there thinking about bringing you properties. Okay, so yellow letters. Oh man. Okay, so yellow letters, you get your yellow pad with the perforated stuff, and you take a white piece of printer paper. Man, I'm so. Anyway, you've got your yellow pad, you've got your white printer paper, you put it on there, and you write your letter. Hey, this is Mike. Me and my wife, Lindsay, are interested in your property at, leave that next line blank, or you can just say we're just interested in your property. And then please call me. And then you can say we pay cash, we close quick, we buy as is, and we pay all the fees. And then put please call me, your phone number, and then sign it, and then do your logo. So I used to work at Walmart, so I do a little smiley face that they used to have that they don't have anymore. And so you can do that. And then you take that yellow pad paper and you put that in the back of the printer where the paper goes. And then you just take that white printer paper with the stuff on it, put it in the printer, and print. And then you can fill it in if you need to with like the seller's address. All right, so it'll look somewhat like that, but handwritten. Yellow Letters Complete can do it for you if you want all this fancy stuff. Postcards, same thing. We talked about that last episode. Your team, you got your leads manager, your marketing manager, your acquisition manager, your closing manager. You want to be on the lookout for these people, okay? While you're doing all of these yourself in your own business. All right, so did you make a goal? All right. Oh, that was out of place. Okay. I want you to read Atomic Habits. You can get that on Audible, or you can get the book. You're going to be building the habits to stick with this business and reach out to people and get things done. All right. Atomic Habits. The list, when you are looking to build a list, you want to see if they own multiple houses, back taxes, bad tenants, foreclosures, divorce, code violations. You can get a list of multiple of those things where they are in foreclosure, have bad tenants, and going through a divorce. I got a guy right now in the foreclosure that I'm going to get to in a second, where he went through a divorce, and the wife stopped helping him pay the half the mortgage. So it's divorce and foreclosure. All right. Man, I went through this already. I've got these in here twice. Okay. Kingpin, become the kingpin of your area. Any houses being sold, bought, shopping malls being built, stores, grocery stores being built, apartments, buildings being torn down, any moving or shaking in your market. You want to be like this guy, Kingpin. Kingpin from Daredevil, okay? Not from any other Disney, Marvel show. Be the Kingpin from Daredevil. All right, you sit back and you got all these people out there finding you deals. You're seeing what's moving, what's shaking. You know, you're gonna know where to go and what properties to go after, where the good areas are, where the bad. Time management. You say you ain't got enough time in a week. You have 168 hours in a week. Let's take away 40 for your job. 40 for sleep, 10 hours for work prep, like driving to and from work and getting up, getting dressed, taking a shower. You have 78 hours left. Let's take half of that and give that to friends and family. You have 39 hours. That's how much time you have. Okay. I mean, you're probably wasting it scrolling. I mean, scrolling is fun, but you know, if you want to get to where I'm at, you don't want to be working at your job, you want to get out, you're going to have to spend those 39 hours working on your business. And then later on, you can play words with friends and scroll on TikTok and Facebook. Um, but you've got to think like, do I want to keep working at this job, or do I want to work on my real estate empire? Okay. So work on those 39 hours and decide where you want to put it. Okay, my REI bug out bag, which my wife took them when she went to the store. But the bag, obviously, you got gel pens. I love Pilot G207s. You can get a 10 pack. I mean, they click so amazingly. I think she took those too. Okay. A nice leather portfolio, Avery slide and view. You'll be able to see these later on. But everything and anything. And if I realize, man, I really wish I had, an extra lockbox. Well, go get a lockbox, put it in there. If you're like me and I passed out at when I was working at Walmart one time, and they gave me orange juice and crackers. So you might put chips and juice, a water bottle, all of that in there, everything. And it's like Batman's utility belt. Okay. And Batman carries kryptonite just in case Superman goes evil, and he uses that against Superman to weaken him. So I put entrepreneurite in there just in case I go evil. There will be a fail safe and somebody can take me down. All right. Say no to hustle porn. Okay. This, you see it on YouTube, Instagram, especially, where people are like, we're in the streets and you're gonna be flipping bricks and hustle, 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 blah, 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 blah. Okay. When I was at Walmart and I'd be like working the shelves, and I'd be like, okay, I'd be working a shelf. And I'd look up and I would see management would just be like was it meerkat? They'd just be looking around, making sure everybody's doing what, like Kingpin. And the people hustling, were working for him. We were over there hustling. I'm like, look at this guy, man. That's where you want to be. You want to be looking at your business, not working in your business. In your business, hustling. Right now you might have to hustle a little bit to get things done, but don't get addicted to this thing where you constantly be in there. Like, what is this guy that's always live? He's always got his hand out, and he's always what is this guy? Skinny white dude with like no hair. Peter Vex? No. V. Gary V. Gary something. I think that's it. Gary V. And he's always on Instagram. He'll have his family back there, and they're like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you're on vacation. He's like, I'm on vacation in the Philippines and work, blah, 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 blah. It's like, nah, dude, when you're making that much money, you stop hustling, all right? You know what I mean? Like, live the good life. Spend time with your family, okay? So don't get addicted to hustle porn, but realize you might need to hustle right now, to get things done, but don't get used to it, okay? You want to get back, and you want to have other people hustle for you. Okay, so my goal, it should be your goal. Let's say you want to do 3 deals a week, or 13 deals a month. Okay. And you see here how we get to the first month. You do 1 deal. Second month, you do 1 deal. Third month, you do 1 deal. Fourth month, you do 2 deals. So by the end of the year, you're doing 4 deals a month. That's a deal a week. So you're gradually getting up here. So you can look and see, oh, I'm at month 7, but I'm only doing 2 deals this month. I should be doing 3. So to ramp up your stuff into overdrive, double it up, because pretty soon you're going to have to be doing 4 deals. Okay. So set your goal and make sure you are on track. So if you want to do by the end of the year, you want to do 4 deals a month or 2 deals a month or 6 deals, track that on here and then go back and count down to see, what you're going to have to do. So you can tell before the year's over if you're keeping up with your goal. All right, my deal. All right, we'll get to my deal in a minute. I think I'm way over time. Your homework is to set up your Podio Simply. Most of you probably already got that set up. Become the investor. Become this person. Okay. Pick a list type. Pick a marketing strategy. Pick a skip tracer that you like. Pick virtual numbers. And then build your team while you're meeting people. Think about who you should add to your team. Okay. And go to this badass lady thing tomorrow. Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 5. Okay. Even if you're not a badass lady, you should be watching these badass ladies do their thing. And yeah, I'm watching it. I'm going to be in there. And hopefully my wife will be there and we can watch it together. Okay. All right. Let me get on this deal. And so y'all can probably tune out if you want. Try to keep these at and then there's my contact again. Try to keep these at 45 minutes, but I was rushing through it. So my deal here, right here, this one. So a couple of days ago, I got this one from Ted in Ackworth. And a couple of days ago, he was like, I don't need to sell. And then what I did was I ended up, he's going into foreclosure, but it's listed with a realtor. And I found out that it was listed with a realtor way too late because he didn't tell me. And he listed it with a realtor 20 hours before he called me from my postcard. So I skipped him, but none of those, this phone number on here, not on my skip trace. So the postcards were the only way I got to this guy. So definitely doing that again. And I think the 375 is what it's listed for. And so we're making a deal with him to me and my funding guy. Funding guy is fronting the money, 30,000 to stop it from going into foreclosure. And then we're getting the deed, and then we're letting the realtor list it. It's going to not go to the foreclosure because we're going to pay to catch it up. And then when it sells 375 or more, since we have the deed, we're going to get 30 back. Okay. And then we're going to split that. And then you can see the tags that it came from. And then, so I was getting information from him. And, I kind of had to ask roundabout questions. And I mean, he was a funny guy, laughing about stuff, telling me about golf carts and selling them, and they're fun to ride through the neighborhood. And this was yesterday. So Thursday, Friday, there's Monday next week, and then Tuesday's the sale. So there's really 3 days, this guy, 2.5 days, this guy, and he's just living it up. Oh, I got eight people coming by and taking a look at it. And then I called him today to make sure everything was still good. And he was just like, oh man, I'm dealing with this guy. I'm dealing with that guy. I'm dealing with this guy. And it was like, yeah, dude, you need to hurry. Like 3 days before the sale is not when you decide to list your property. 25, actually 29, closer to 30. He said he had that in his retirement fund. But it was like, dude, just pull it out. So I think he was lying about that. He repaired the house himself because he couldn't sell it. No realtor wanted to touch it. Him and his wife got a divorce. She will get half of the sale. And then he also said that he moved or she moved away and is with somebody else. So selling this house doesn't affect her at all. Kind of sticking it to him is what it seemed like. He's going to try to get 60% and give her 40. She signed the listing agreement to sell it. I got the payments, how much is on the mortgage. Um, I was gonna see about postponing it. So there's a first and second mortgage, and then who the company was. And then yeah, so we got all that. I got the calls over here recorded. I got some voicemails, all of that. And so I, I was like, dude, I need to get to this list before, way before, you know, he had listed it, because that's what was stopping us from, because we would have to pay 375, right? The realtor's not going to take less than that. Um, and so I was like, man, if I could get to this as a divorce, I would have gotten to it way back then. Uh, and if I had a better skip tracing, I could have got to him ahead of time. But I don't know. The funding guy mentioned that if I had gotten to him earlier, because when I spoke to him Thursday, he was like, oh, I got 8 buyers coming by, they're gonna bid more than asking price, oh yeah, we're gonna sell, it's gonna be great. I could not get him to like 3 days, dude. Like we need to hurry. And so now it's really putting the pressure on it, since he spoke to, I think, the attorney over his particular property. So yeah, if I could get him at the divorce, because him and the wife were supposed to be paying the mortgage, she stopped paying. So I think somehow he can get her. He was telling us a bunch of stuff, but man, it's just like, dude, you're divorced. You don't care about the property. Sign it over to him. Let him have it. I mean, you're gonna get like half of it. You can pay half the mortgage, and then when it sells, they're gonna get like 50,000 each. I mean, like, she doesn't care about getting 50,000. It's almost like she wants to stick it to him, and she'd rather throw away that 50,000, let the house foreclose, ruin his credit, and then he doesn't have a place to stay. It's like, man. All right, so there's that deal I was working on. Explain it to you is a divorce and a foreclosure, so I might look into that. Um, and then yeah, that's how we did that deal. We saw that it wasn't going to be good to sell it or to make a cash offer on it, but we're still making money on it. Basically, like a loan shark, I guess, lending 30,000, getting 30,000, because without that 30,000, it's going to go to the sale and they'll get nothing. All right, so there's that. I got my son getting the VR right here, and I think if there's any more questions, we'll end it. The next one episode of this is going to be on not the 4th, but the 11th of February. All right, right before Valentine's Day. All right, I would love to see y'all then on the next one, February 11th at 7 p.m. We're going to be talking about CRMs, how to work this CRM, how to probably we're going to talk about Podio first, how to connect them, how to do everything with the CRM, how to make your own, and then we're going to talk about how to use this one right here that I pay for. All right, so I'm Mike the Wholesaler, and I'll see you on the next.